Hi, Vince.
Hi, Sarah. How are you?
I'm great, thanks. How are you doing?
Yeah, good. Excellent. Yeah.
Are you in a car?
I am, yes. My office.
Is it? That's what works.
It works well, yes. I can make a lot of noise and can't be heard.
Soundproofed, yeah.
Mm.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So tell me where you're up to on this journey.
Um, I would say that, okay, where am I up to? I would say that um, I can experience awareness, and I've attended a couple of these meetings with you, and um, during one of those meetings, you said that there's more to find, and I'm interested to understand how to do that.
Hmm. I don't remember our conversation, so I don't.
That's okay.
I
So
can't
I mean,
reference that. Yeah.
there wasn't much more detail than that. Like I experience emptiness, vastness, stillness, um, and I am very familiar with sinking in and lowering down. Um, and I've sort of, I must admit, I'm finding a little bit of frustration with the limitations that I put on that, and that I wouldn't mind sinking lower, I guess
Mm.
is what I'm saying.
Yeah. Tell me about those limitations.
It's very familiar. The empty vastness is very familiar. Little experiences of um, fullness, um, and I describe that as being like whipped cream, moving through whipped cream. But limitations, I the s- sensation of lowering, and then a jolt, uh, I guess it's a tensing up,
Mm.
um, that I would that maybe that's what I mean by limitations.
Right. Yep. Yep. So would you see that tensing up is stopping something from happening?
Um, yes, yes, I think so. Yeah.
And would it be accurate to say that you would like that something to happen?
Well, um, I don't know why the jarring, the tensing happens, so I'm wondering why that
Mm.
happens.
Mm. Does it startle you when it happens?
No, no, it's like just like oh,
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. But you see it as a negative, do you?
yeah, I see it as like resistance, I guess. It's like resistance.
Mm. Resistance to
Going
something?
going lower, maybe.
Mm. What's wrong with where you are? Why do you want to go lower?
Um, to see what's there.
Yeah. Curiosity. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm.
Um, no reason why not, you
Sure.
know.
Yeah. How do you know there is lower?
Mm, um, I read about other people experience and
you you are. You see that reaction. Yeah. I was thinking a second ago, I was thinking, you don't believe some idiot called Vince who says there's more, do you?
I do. I'm
Yeah.
here to believe what he says, Vince.
Yeah. Other than reading about others, other than listening to others like me, other than the idea that there is more, does anything in your experience tell you that there's more?
Um, there, well, the whipped cream, what I refer to as the whipped cream. So right now, um, the emptiness is available. Um, the the fullness was temporary. Um, so there's quite a distinct difference between those. So I'm wondering about other things as
Mm,
well.
okay, yeah. Yeah, okay. I find it interesting that you say there's a difference between them. It's not something I have experienced, so it's like I have to imagine it. Uh, I've got this. My experience is kind of totally weird when it comes to talking about it because my feeling is that the emptiness is really full, and equally true to say the fullness is empty, but in a different way. Not doesn't carry the same weight as to say the emptiness is full. Yeah. And it's kind of full of whipped cream. I, I get that analogy. Yeah, there's a kind of a smoothness to it, for sure. Mm. Do you value one more than the other? Do you feel that there's one is better
Um,
or worth more or however you want to put it? What's
no,
is there a
no,
no,
they're
just
just
different? Yeah.
different. Yeah.
Mm. So usually this kind of thing gets talked about or looked at, investigated, examined from the perspective of that resistance that's there. You know, what is it that stops us from? And until you said the word resistance, you saw that jolt as an expression of resistance. I didn't get any feelings of resistance anywhere. You don't seem to be. You seem to be open to me, to my interpretation.
That's a good point. That's a fair point. I don't know. So applying that word, um, resistance. I mean, it's like I don't know how else to describe it
Yeah,
because if
yeah, I get that. Okay, tell me this then. Does the word um come from um this might sound a bit weird. Does the word come from below up or up down?
the word resistance or the
Yes. Yes.
sensation, the word resist. Oh, it's coming from here, straight ahead.
Right.
It's
Okay.
it's yeah.
Give me your spontaneous reaction to this one. Does it feel like let me sit with this for a minute. I lost it. I lost what I was going to say.
Okay. I tell you something that just came up. It feels like a speed bump. That's more maybe closer
Right.
to what it feels
Yeah.
like
Yeah.
than that sort of evaluation of
Yes.
applying the word resistance.
Perfect. I love that analogy. That's it slows you down.
Yeah, yeah.
Mm, mm. We can presume, and it is a big presumption, so it may not be appropriate at all, but we can presume that it's a protective reaction. It's your let's say it's your body. That's you certainly your unconscious, um, or something you're not conscious of, but it's something that's happening spontaneously. I haven't thought about it like this before, but I suspect that that's always going to be have the intention to look after you, have the intention to protect you from something, regardless of whether that something is credible or tangible or not. It's just that its idea is to stop you from going somewhere. And in this case, it's to stop you from going down into more depth, more immersion. But there's no fear, eh?
I'm not aware of fear.
Mm.
No. The one thing, okay, when I say that, the one thing would be not fear, but appropriate time. So if when I think of my work responsibilities, that that
Okay, gotcha.
that
Right.
comes up.
Boing. Yes. So, so somewhere there is a story that if you allow yourself to get too immersed in this, you're going to cease to be capable or productive or whatever it is that you are. Yes. Okay. Welcome to that. Notice that May is nodding as well. Yes. Yeah, I get that. I get that. Right. You just gave me the theme for my next story too. Well, thank you. Okay, yeah, yeah, that's a big one. Um, Again, you only glean that stuff from reading and listening and then imagining. Hey, you don't, you don't, can you say that you have a tangible example of that happening in your life somewhere?
No,
No.
no,
Yeah.
no. So it's a story,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. Yeah. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Look, this is also a bit of a tricky one too. I'm maybe I need to do a story about that as well. But anyway, the idea is, well, the recognition is this. Look, if you were born, and it's totally fantasy, of course, but if you were born and you never got conditioned in any which way, shape, or form, you'd be a mess on the floor and not be able to move. You wouldn't be functional in any way, shape, or form. Essentially, you need conditioning, and that conditioning is a whole lot of good stuff there, like how to tie your shoelaces and do up the buttons on your shirt and all that kind of stuff. All of those conditions are useful, but as usual, it gets stuffed up, and we get a whole lot of conditioning that causes problems for us. It causes dis- discomfort, unhappiness, etc., suffering, if you like. So really, we only want to get rid of the shitty stuff. The other stuff, the useful stuff. uh, We're not. There's no reason to change that. You need to know how to go to the shop and do those things. You need to know how to go to work and do what you do there and so on. Of course, and your personality, if you like chocolate ice cream before, you'll still like chocolate ice cream. You may not desire it as much, but you'll still enjoy it when you have it, possibly even more, probably even more. But regardless, your personality is not going to go away. You might change some aspects of it, but nah. Yeah, I've been, well, was it 60, 40? Yeah. No, that's not right. Anyway, I was, without doing the maths, I was going to say, I think I'm married 57 years this year, and my wife thinks I haven't changed at all. So, on the outside, you'll have no trouble doing whatever you need to do. Your interest in it might change, certainly, and that is a possibility that you'll just go, what am I doing this for, and decide not to. But on the other hand, well, who knows what will happen with that. But capability wise, you'll still be able to, for sure. That isn't going to be an issue.
Mm.
This is an interesting one, and certainly it's worth discussing it with you. And that is that there is a point at which I I reckon, and this is fantasy for me, so because it's not something I've experienced, but I reckon you could reach a point with losing so much identification that you're basically only capable of going and finding a cave and sitting in it until you die. Um, that could happen, but don't know of anybody that's ever reached that point of that.
Mm.
Um, so we can talk about waking up as something different to enlightenment, maybe, or we can talk about degrees of, or whatever. I don't know the right word. Like, let's say degrees of identification, to the point where it becomes unfunctional. But I can't imagine that happening
Mm.
in this culture anyway. Certainly in an Indian culture, it might well be the case that, and that's what people frequently did traditionally. So,
Mm,
but I don't think in this culture it'll be an issue. You might suddenly decide you want to retire a lot earlier, though. Who knows? Who knows?
mm, mm,
The thing is, if we just remove the the main illusions that we get lost in that cause suffering are always self-directed thoughts, always stuff that we direct back at ourselves, about me. We take it personally. Well, once that's seen through, and that's it's not to say it would go away necessarily, but it will hold it a lot lighter, and it will end up we won't respond to it, we won't react to it in the way we used to. So things will change. So essentially, life becomes it's really weird. You could say life becomes really pleasant, but in fact, life disappears. My experience here is that I can't believe where the today went. For me, it's 9:18 p.m. and the whole day it just disappeared, like every like every day does.
mm.
I don't know where it goes. It's just gone. Yeah.
Tell me, have you observed a change in your sleep or your dreams?
Not really. I I never much remembered my dreams. Occasional dream I would, but I didn't. I did a lot as a kid. I had a lot of nightmares as a kid. Um, but no, I don't. But then I have periods where I'll know that I've been dreaming a lot. Not that I'll remember the dreams themselves, but I'll know that I've had them. Um, but essentially, no, I don't. I don't. Dreams don't. They're occasional more than frequent. Um, and it's interesting. I've discovered that how tired I am is not really got to do with how much sleep I get. So I can have a really short night and feel quite rested, or I can have a really long night and not feel rested. It's doesn't make a lot of sense, that kind of stuff. So I
Mm,
can I can I can get up. Not that I don't enjoy getting out of bed in the middle of the night, but I can do it if I need to do it. Um, and then sometimes I'll need to sleep during the day, and other times I don't. There's no logic to it. I don't know
mm,
about
mm.
it. Yeah. So you've had some sleep changes, have you?
No, no. If anything, I'm remembering dreams less, but I sort of go through, periods
Mm.
where that changes. So nothing dramatic, no dramatic change. No.
Yeah. Yeah. I kind of imagine that, and again, I have no credible um, reasons to imagine this, but I do have a story that dreams are an expression of unconscious stuff. So,
Mm,
it's, but lots of things are. So, if you don't dream a lot, well, that just may means you just don't need to express a lot of stuff or there's not a lot of, who know, I don't know. I have no idea. It's a crazy one. Yeah. So, the answer, everything I say, I realize how crazy it is straight away. But the discovering more and whether you call that, you described it as a going down, a downward movement, deeper, I suppose. Um, that's facilitated. That's facilitated almost 100% by your acceptance of what's currently in your life? So I'd be saying to you, I want to know more about that jolt that happens. I want to not now. I don't want to. When I say no, I take it back. The words were just too sloppy. I don't want to know more. I want to. I want to. I want to see more details about it, of the experience of it. I'm not interested in the theory behind it so much, but the details of the actual sensation and the experience of the jolt, and that you somehow it it. I found it interesting. You said it was in front of you, that there was that speed bump, that resistance, that blocking happening. But your answer to deeper, your portal to deeper is through that.
Ah, okay. Okay.
So we want to see it happen. We want to see it happen, and we want to be able to immerse ourselves in it, get really intimate with the details, the subtle details of what 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 the happening is, how it where it comes from, and what it feels like, and so on and so on. And it's like you can experience incredible detail in it, but don't expect that you'll be able to remember that later. But by inviting it and welcoming it and having an attitude of pulling it to you in order to see it clearer, is your way through whatever that is. So you could say, let's not call it resistance, although we acknowledge that you say it feels a bit like resistance. It feels like something slowing you down, but it may that's not going to come from the actual sensation or the actual experience. That comes from the stories that get attached to it. And, but we give them some credibility because they're the ones that turned up. So we're
Mm,
not like we're going to say poo poo, or they're not right or anything like that. It's just that, yeah. But recognize that the experience itself doesn't have a narration in it.
mm, mm,
The narration can only get attached to it.
mm,
And so if we've looked at it and said it's a bit of a speed hump, and it's having that effect, but we can just move a couple of degrees further around and look at it like saying it thinks you need protection. The reason that it's there isn't because it's obstructive by nature, but rather that its nature is to look after you, and that's how it figures it'll do that kind of thing.
mm, mm,
But most likely thing is that where it gets its motivation from isn't present, it's past. It came out of the past. It is present in the sense that it's relating to something that it believes is true now, but the origin of it, the creation of it, was very likely back in childhood somewhere.
mm,
Um, that says, yeah, you just watch yourself. Don't you go further than you're capable of going. Yeah.
mm,
No, no, don't go out in the water past your waist deep, or etc. Yeah. And depending on, I mean, I haven't picked up any ideas about how prevalent um, the feelings are about it, but it's is it pervasive enough that it's robbing your other times of enjoyment, or is it held very lightly?
Very lightly, very
Yes, right,
lightly.
right, yes,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. And your suggestion to focus on it and maybe um, listen, listen to it. I think that's valuable. That's a valuable suggestion.
mm,
And yes, I think listening um, gently. It seems it needs to be gentle.
mm,
So it's with patience
yep, yep,
and
yep. And we can go a little further too. It's again it's subtle stuff, but if you if you recognize, or if you become aware that it's coming from above, your mind is the producer of what it thinks is a good description of what's going on, compared to if it comes from your gut and it's your intuition talking, and your intuition will talk in a much softer offering kind of tone of voice, whereas from your mind it will come down as, it'll sound like a politician. Yeah, God, what comes out of this mouth sometimes. Yeah. But yeah, as much as I'm laughing and joking, it has great potential to appreciate. Just it's like what we're redoing it to a degree is we're retraining our mind, or our our involvement with our mind. Um, and one of those things is to appreciate that the same thing can come from quite different directions and have quite different flavors. And it can yet the words are the same. It's just like when I say, how lightly do you hold it? That's a great clue as to what's going on. You can hold it and it doesn't matter, it's just there. Yeah.
Mm, mm,
Or you can
mm,
be obsessive about it and it ruins your life, or it runs your life anyway. Yeah.
mm,
And what is potential is that if you were to hold it more than lightly, that it would be robbing you. It would be taking up space in a
mm,
not so pleasant way unnecessarily. Yeah.
mm. Thank you. That's useful. I want to say, yeah, useful and helpful.
Great.
Yeah. Thank
Yeah.
you.
Yeah, when that integrates and whatever, we'll push on,
Yeah.
go a little deeper. Yeah, that's great. I'm pleased you're here. How are you, Maya?
Well, I'm in a good place.
Good.
No,
That's,
I'm not. I'm irritated. The thing is, I can see everything. I see my irritation. I see it as a sensation. I see the thoughts that are linked to it or that are there at the same time. I work a lot. There's this deadline, a nasty deadline, and I don't believe I'm going to make it. But okay, I try nevertheless.
Yeah. So if that attitude was literally accurate, then I would expect that you'll not think about whether you'll make it again or not until the day of the deadline, and that you will how hard you work at it or how persistent you are, etc., will just happen. But that you won't need to every day go through the story of what happens if I don't make it.
Yeah. Just this question that you asked, Sarah, how likely is it? The deadline is not heavy on me.
Mm.
I mean, it's about there are three possibilities. One, I don't get to do anything. It doesn't all depend on me. We'll see. I'll do my best and then we'll see. I could lose my job, in which case I would resign before it happens, when I see it's imminent. The second is I stay at the same position as now, which is a bit depressing because everybody else is going up, is getting promoted. And it's not difficult. It's really not difficult. The requirements are not so demanding.
Mm.
And the third would be I get promoted, but it would mean I really manage to do everything on the list. So I don't know, whatever happens. But when I engage in working, then this how to say, then this pressure builds up. When I work a lot, the pressure builds up, and it's difficult to sit hours on a computer and keep focused and everything. It's not easy. So in the evening, I'm really worn.
Yeah. Yeah. And that work is in your office at the university or at home?
No, at home.
Oh, okay. So a 5-minute break every hour, does that happen?
I had similar plans, but on the other hand, when I'm really into it, I don't want to get up. I don't want to break the focus,
Right.
Then today I didn't do anything. The meeting with you starts for me at noon. And then there was always, oh, well, I'll go to the meeting at noon, so I won't start anything in the morning. So starting is difficult. And there is also one question, what's the point? Somehow, what's the point? I prepare my teachings and I write papers. I do find enjoyment in both activities. I do find enjoyment, but somehow, what's the point? Why am I doing this? To keep a job, to get a salary. Is this enough?
So if you lose your job, would you be then looking for another one?
No, I would try to do something by myself
Mm.
to try
Some
to,
consultation work, maybe?
yeah.
Yep. Yeah.
I was looking for a job here, but nobody, I didn't, I only got one invitation for an interview. and I got scared and never went.
Oh, okay.
It was a
Oh, there you
it was
go.
a good it was a good job. It was a
Yeah,
good job.
yeah.
They
Well,
will see
you
they will
can
see
say
what kind of imposter I am. They
sorry?
would see what kind of imposter I am, and there's no point of going there.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Yeah, sometimes they're worth looking at, like you go, oh yeah, I got scared, but then you think, what could possibly happen, But then I immediately my thoughts were, well, that's obvious that you didn't want the job anyway. You'd rather not have it. Well,
I did want this job.
yeah,
This would have been a nice job. I
yeah,
really liked it. This is something I would like to do, but I do have an idea, and somehow I also hold lightly to this idea what I might do afterwards.
yeah,
Somehow lightly, I would enjoy it immensely. I already started something because this this flying won't be sustainable, My flying starts in 10 days, and
oh, yes, back and forward, yeah, yeah,
yeah, for 9 months. I mean, this is not so sustainable. Heathrow is not working today. Berlin is not working for some hacker issues or something.
mm,
So this won't last. I need something else.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
On the other hand, all the positions here in the UK, they have enough Oxford and Cambridge graduates for these positions. They don't need me. Even
Yeah, and I guess being a linguist is a very niche area for employment as well.
yeah,
Mm,
German specialized English linguist.
mm,
Honestly, I would be the happiest to lose my job.
mm. This is the thing. Do we allow
to
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 even see
think and
what it is
say,
we really
yeah,
want,
yeah.
or do we? Yeah.
We had a meeting a few days ago, an online meeting. I was so depressed for the whole day after that. What am I
Oh,
doing there?
uh,
But then there's a belief, if I stop working there, if I stopped working there for any reason, I would have my own company, I would give consultations or something. And then this is just a belief. Who knows what will happen?
exactly. Yes, that's right.
So there comes fear. So I'm trapped in this situation. I don't want the job I have because it's not suitable for many reasons.
Yeah.
It's far away. My family's here. I have to fly. It costs money, and I don't like it. Actually, there are better things I could do. The situation in my university is not good. Really not good. It's not good anywhere. Universities are under attack now.
Yeah. Yeah. Everywhere. Yeah. Yeah. But of course, part of there's a positive in that although you've got to fly for work, it means you can also incorporate seeing your parents.
Yes, yes. At the moment, yes. At the
Mm,
moment, it has to be like that.
yeah.
I mean, the
Correct.
tickets are already ready for the next few months.
Mm,
So I will do it. I will do it now. It's not imminent. The deadline is in a year.
yeah. And anything could happen with your parents in that time as well.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So
yes,
that's likely to have a bigger effect on what you do than anything.
yes. Yeah. I mean, I'm behind with what I should have done up to now. I should have and could have had all the papers ready and okay, now just organize the teaching for the year. Okay, I could have, I should have, but there were objective and subjective things that objective also for me that prevent me from sitting at my desk and working because there are other things I have to attend now.
Mm, mm. So are you planning on synchronizing waking up with retirement?
Hopefully not. Oh my God. I'm 10 years to retirement. Who would survive this?
Yeah. Oh, that's a
But
long
you
time.
mentioned retirement, and I thought, oh, I could retire early. But I don't know. In Croatia, it's not possible. You cannot do that. Not for me.
It doesn't work financially, you mean?
Mm-mm. Financially, it would work, but there's another fear. If I stopped working, there's only my husband working, and I am, after what happened to me with being ill, I'm not comfortable with
Yeah,
only one
make
salary.
one right, yeah.
Mhm. So there's fear. And now the awakening philosophy says just let yourself go and everything will be okay. And then I get irritated also in hearing that.
It's a stupid thing to say, isn't it? How can you do that?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, jump from the cliff and everything will be okay. Will it be?
Mm. But don't do anything and everything will be okay.
Yeah.
In fact, think of whatever circumstances you want to and everything will be okay.
Mm. Because there were already difficult circumstances in my life and everything was okay.
Mm.
Even if I died, everything would have been okay.
Sure. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And if new things turn up, you will discover the difference between how you once would have responded to how you do it now.
Mm. Although also before I'm pleased with how I reacted to things. I mean, getting cancer, I was okay.
Yeah, that's a huge test, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah. And I passed it before I started
Mm. Mm.
working on awakening. I well, these are situations when people say, if something like this happened to me, I don't know how I would react. But I can say something like this happened to me and I know how I reacted.
Yeah. And
It
it's
was
weird when you say that, it propels me into
Mhm.
something that I can't really define, and there's a flavour of, and there were thoughts about when I recovered from cancer, but there is a distinct and familiar feeling that goes along with that. That somehow it says something like, "I'm okay." It's, it's, if it's possible, it's a feeling of competence.
Yes, yes. Even even so far, I would say there were moments when I thought I'm invincible now,
Mm.
which is of course bullshit, but
Well, it's two things. See, you say, I can feel like that. That's how I describe my feeling. Absolutely legitimate, perfectly legitimate. To cite it as an objective fact, of course, that's ridiculous. That's another story
yeah,
altogether, you know. Yeah.
yeah. Yes.
Mhm.
So everything's okay. I'm just irritated that there is no awakening. Other than that, everything's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's also fine. At least I say it is. Um, so, so do you know that you're irritated, or are you feeling irritated?
I know, I know. I'm watching everything from a side. I
Mm.
know there's no. I mean, there will be triggers. I was really depressed after the meeting, but
Sure. Yeah. Yeah. Of course.
when I
Yeah.
come to my senses, I just step back and see, oh, the sensation, oh,
Mm.
the story. But
Okay.
okay, yeah.
So answer me this: you're able to witness that you're irritated. Right? Now you can get a flavor of that irritation. You know, it has a kind of a jarry, feely thing about it, and so on and so on. Right. Now, the bit of you that knows, the bit of you that sees that you're irritated, is it irritated? Or is it quite calm watching the other you being irritated?
It's so weak.
The bit that's watching.
Yes, it is so weak, it's hard to say. But if I try watching the thing that's watching, then the thing that's watching is also, I'm in a loop. Who's watching if I'm watching what I'm watching?
Yes, yeah, exactly. Yeah. Gee, wow. Somebody sent me a link. I'll go and get it right now. Somebody sent me a link, and I watched today. I read an article by Robert Saltzman, and it was on it. Yeah, it was exactly what you were talking about. I'll just go and find the link for you. It was excellent.
I'll have to copy it because if I follow the link, then the Zoom will fall out, as far as I know.
Oh, it shouldn't. It should just
Maybe
go to
not.
another
Okay.
tab. But yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
I'll try.
but I can send it to you. Let me find it.
Okay. If I drop out, I'll come back.
Yeah, yeah, okay. Where are we? In the
And when I say if I'm watching that is watching,
yeah.
then who's watching? It creates confusion. And then confusion is
Okay.
something that I can watch.
Right. Yes. Okay. Um, look, do you get that that's I don't quite know the right word, but it's it's not an appropriate question. um, it implies stuff that has no basis.
Yeah. You know, when I in this loop, I twice visited the place where I need to be, the source. But when you say to me, watch who is watching, watch this which is watching. When I try to watch this which is watching, or when I look away from the irritation and sensation of irritation. The confusion is such that my watching is, if I was blind, there's blindness to see what I want to see. Or there's nothing to see. I'm looking into the void. I don't know.
All right.
As if I'm blind. The confusion equals blindness, let's
Yes,
say.
yes, I get that. Yeah, yeah. Okay. See, we don't. It's difficult for me to grasp the details of what happens for you when you're watching. It's because
Yeah.
this gets very subtle, yeah. Um, and the differences are potentially great, huge. You know, so there's watching and there's watching, or there's seeing and there's seeing, or there's whatever. So both of those, of course, are analogies because we're not watching. We're probably more likely feeling, but with attentive mind stuff as well.
Yeah.
So how we watch. So one of the things is, and I'm imagining this, so I don't know how right it is for you, but you'll work out whether it resonates or not. And that is that there's there's degrees of clarity that are demanded. Right? So you might be saying, I'm not watching well enough, or I'm not watching clearly enough, or I'm not watching if I don't see exactly what's going on, if I can't see it clearly. But the reality is that as soon as we're getting down to below the ability to narrate about what we're observing, it gets very, very, very murky, very, very ill-defined, out of focus almost. Um,
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah, what you'll be seeing and so you're really only looking for flavors of things, really, to say you could in fact have two things going together, but they're not distinct, and they're not distinctly separate, and they're not
Mm.
clear. So it could be a case of recognizing that, the old way was that we were brought up to believe that everything was black or white. It was binary, that it was yes or no, that you can't have conflicting things at the same time. But you can, of course you can. You can have
Yeah.
all sorts of things going on, exactly. And of course you can only talk about one of them at a time. So you can't talk about them both at the same time. So, um, so I'm just wondering whether or not your demand for clarity is what limits you. I don't for a moment imagine that you don't have the ability to see what goes on inside you, but defining it's another story.
Yeah. Muddy is a good word for this. Yes, muddy.
Mm,
But completely muddy.
yeah,
Like murky water, completely murky.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I see nothing. And if this is what I should see, if is this what I'm looking for, I don't, there's no feeling in me, um, there's no feeling in me that confirms that this is what I should see. There is feeling this is something I shouldn't see. This is something
Yep,
that
yep, yep.
lacks. That lacks. It's
Right. Okay. Right. So what we have literally is a unique human being. And we know, it's really obvious that none of us can experience what somebody else experiences. We can only experience our own version of that. So it's all different, right? So maybe it's the case that that kind of looking isn't the way to go for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It just irritates me every time when I come to it. It's this confusion. It's confusion. It does have a flavor. It does have a sensation. It's a subtle sensation, but it doesn't lead anywhere else.
Mm. Okay.
It's like the end of
Mm.
searching, of looking, of
Right. So what if what you're seeing, the murkiness, the muddiness of it, is what is actually there, and you're seeing it clearly, and it's just this story that turns up that says, "Oh no, it should clarify, and I should be able to see details." But what if what you're seeing is exactly what is there, which is that murkiness, that muddiness? And if we follow that, if we investigate that a little bit, we can say, well, that could be described as confusion or chaos or whatever. But what we've got is we've got a whole lot of stuff mixed up together. We've got, dirt and water or clay and water mixed up to make it muddy. So essentially, if we get so much clay in it that it gets thick, we start to feel it, not just see the fact that it's opaque. So what if that's what it is? What if there isn't anything clear there to be seen, but there's only murkiness?
I ask myself this because everything that arises should be accepted and invited and acknowledged. So I did this. And I just said it doesn't lead anywhere. It leads to more irritation. Maybe
Okay.
this is somewhere.
So there you go. So you the irritation is your doorway. And it keeps jumping up in front of you, and you keep saying, "Piss off, go away, leave me alone."
I'm doing more smarter
Yeah,
stuff.
yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah. There's the old
Yeah.
story about the bloke on the roof of his house in a flood, and the SES come to rescue him, and he says, "No, God's going to save me. Go away, go away." And the helicopter comes, "Go away, go away." Yeah, yeah, yeah,
And I have plenty of irritation now.
yeah.
Irritation everywhere.
Yes, hiding in plain sight, eh?
Yes. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, it's burning. It's burning. It's a burning sensation.
yeah. There's a lot of energy tied up, eh? It's burning, it's hot.
Yeah.
There's a lot of
Yeah.
energy in there, a lot of activity, a lot of friction. Yeah.
Yes. This is obviously what I have to deal with now.
Yeah. My stories have quite by themselves have taken on a different thing, and lately the last couple that actually won't get published until next week probably. I'm about 10 days ahead now. um, but a lot of those I've seem to be I've appended exercises to do that are kind of retraining, kind of the flavor of them is retraining the brain. Um, and I've kind of laughed to myself as I'm doing that, thinking, well, this will satisfy the people who think they've got to do something to get there. They've got they want work. Well, here's some work.
I think I don't anymore. I think I've adopted this
Yep.
attitude. Things will come.
Yep. And they
I'm
will
just
for sure. Yeah.
As someone said, I'm just exposing myself to. I'm exposing myself to awakening by coming here and talking to people and to you and everyone
Yeah.
else, Marius.
Yeah. And every time somebody talks about it, it clarifies possibilities and things happen, things change. Yeah. See, well, one of the characteristics of people waking up is that they find that they're no longer seeking. So it's not that they drop seeking and become awake, but that seeking simply falls by the wayside when they wake up. But then it's not very much further along the track when they also start going, this awakening thing is nothing. It's not there. It's just it's only there for people who are still seeking.
I regret to inform you there is no awakening.
I know what you're going to say. Yeah.
Well, I don't know. I stopped because nothing happened. I don't believe there is anything anymore, and I don't believe there isn't. So
Hmm. So you're open. You're really open to
yeah. Oh yes, yes. I
whatever.
do. I wouldn't say I'm seeking anymore. I wouldn't say I'm seeking because I don't know if there is something to seek, something to
Seek.
find.
Right. Yeah.
Okay. But on the other hand, I love myself a good story, reading stories from you and from Marius, and to listen to, I don't know, YouTubes from this and that. Because those are moments of recognition which feel so good. Just for that. And maybe someone drops something that will push me
Yeah.
step
Yeah.
forward.
Okay. So that reminds me, I've put that link in the chat. So if you need to copy that while it's still there.
I did already.
Yeah. Yeah. And as I've not read a lot of Robert Salzman, but what I have read, I resonate with. I like what he says. I love it when
Mm.
people seem to agree when they agree with me. That's that's good, isn't it? I mean, he's been around for years, that one. But anyway, yeah, I like what I read with him. So yeah, enjoy that one. But yeah, you'll resonate with the looping thing that he's talking about.
Okay, yeah.
And and the level of subtlety also suits you. You're able to appreciate that as
Mhm.
well.
Okay,
Mm.
thanks. So I don't know if I'm seeking or not. Not actively, not this
Yeah,
not this hard anymore
yeah,
in for sure.
yeah. So we start to realise that how superficial are words? How inadequate are they to convey the depth of anything when it comes to this? So when a whole lot of things we say, well, the ones you've heard me talk about before, trust. I trust that life will do the right thing by me. I can say that, and it's an accurate description, but it never happens unless I want to communicate it to you. So I don't ever in a day think I'm trusting. There is no such thing as trust. And a whole lot of stuff is just like that. It's obvious that it's an abstract noun and that
Mhm.
that it can only be conceptual for me. But that's no big deal either way. It's just there. Um, But the opposite, that can be substantial, tangible.
Yeah, fear.
Yes, yes.
Mm. You see how language forms opposites which don't actually exist.
Mm, that's right. Yeah.
Yes, it's like with your avatar wings, the two faces and the base. There is opposite of white and black. Without this opposite, there wouldn't be no vase, no faces, nothing.
Isn't this the point of non-duality, if I heard you well, Bianca?
Yeah. Mm.
But Vince is thinking, so I'm not the one to say what is the point of non-duality.
Me neither. You were late today to hear me saying, what's the point? What's the point?
I definitely see no point in anything. And this joke of Vince came back to me as about who suffers more, a man kicked in balls or woman in labor. And how this joke just you can say that this joke is about that we forget the pain, but I think it's about it that humans are willing to take any suffering if they see point in it.
Yeah.
I had a lot of trouble hearing what you were saying, Bianca.
Do you hear Maya better?
Mm. Do I hear you what?
Do you hear me better than Bianca?
Yes, you're clearer than Bianca. Bianca's got seems to have a lot of bass and yeah.
Mm.
Oh. uh, I don't know if I can make my pitch higher.
Yeah, that's better.
You did well.
Okay, I try to speak in little girl voice.
Good. Yeah.
So I said the point of the joke is that humans are willing to take on any suffering if they see point in it.
Yes. Yeah.
Yes. And I just started thinking thoughts that I wouldn't want to say out loud. Sometimes people just convince themselves that there was point in doing something. But I do have the belief that something has to happen, something has to shift, something has to become more visible, a more visible change than what I have now. So there's an expectation. And as soon as I see it as expectation, I try to drop it as much as I can. Somehow I'm really able to analyze everything, to analyze sensations from thoughts, to see beliefs, to see thoughts, to see expectations, to drop them, to manage everything as it should be, but nothing happens. And I'm tired of waiting for something to happen, so I dropped everything.
Hmm.
Why am I coming here? I cannot explain. Also for this feeling good, this resonating with people. Just for that.
Hmm.
And maybe to hear something that will push me the step forward. I'm repeating myself now.
Uh, have you thought that you can expect that it will come from the unexpected?
Yes. And this because I hear many people that things come unexpectedly.
Hmm. It kind of has to, because it's a discovery. It's not, you know.
It's a grace. It's a grace. From, you would never say God, but some would say from God.
Sure. Yeah. You could also say it's luck.
Yeah.
But I think of golf, and I think of getting a hole in one. And I had a hole in one once in my whole golfing career. That was right at the beginning, and I had no skill whatsoever. It was pure luck. And then I realized that anybody who gets a hole in one, it's luck.
Hmm.
But those professionals who can hit a ball pretty close to where they want to hit the ball, they have more luck than an amateur like me when it comes to getting hole in ones. You know, they will have multiple hole in ones throughout their career, most likely, whereas I may never have another one. Right? So what I'm saying is that their skill level puts them in the luck zone. And it's like you coming to these meetings puts you in the zone to have a good accident.
Yeah.
So you could say grace or you could say accident. No
Yeah.
difference to what
Yeah,
I'm
it's the
thinking.
same.
Yeah.
It's the same.
Mm.
It's not the same. Just the aspect of chance is the same.
Mm. Mm. So now that Marius is here, I'm thinking in terms of burning. Would your irritation produce enough heat to combust?
No, it went down. It went down. Distracting is also something that exists, and this is what people normally do. They distract themselves when something comes. Oh, I'd rather not look at this irritation, so I'm going to scroll on Twitter or
Yeah,
something.
yeah.
So
Walk the
this
dog or cook a
this
meal.
conversation was a distraction for me.
Hmm. So do we need to fan the flames to get things really hot, metaphorically? Or can
I
that,
can do I can do it myself. Just pull some recent memories from the meeting and I'm there.
oh, okay. That was loaded, that meeting, by the sound of it.
There wasn't nothing. There wasn't one moment that should cause this. It was just my attitude to everything, to the
Hmm.
situation. People were nice,
Yeah,
but the
but
background,
you were
my
jaded
background,
when you went in there.
yeah, my background story about it, it's flammable, but it's mine.
Hmm.
The others have different stories. They might have enjoyed might have been enjoyable for some people.
So if you get a promotion, will you be promoted to your level of incompetence?
To my level of incompetence.
That's
No, it's
that's the highest level people get promoted. When they get to their level of incompetence, they stay there for the rest of their career.
one more step to that.
Okay.
I could go from step 2 to step 3 now, and step 4 is the highest. But as I said, I'm an imposter, and
Yeah.
but I don't care anymore. I'm an imposter, but I don't care.
Yeah. Well, if you're an imposter and you say you're an imposter, are you an imposter?
I am.
Yeah.
Isn't feeling like an imposter just a feeling or a story? And if you don't care, how can those two go together?
Feeling as an imposter is a feeling, and it's a story. And me not caring. Me not caring means just that I still feel as an imposter, but I do it anyways.
Hmm.
And I drop the fear that goes with it, the fear of being discovered
Yeah.
as an imposter. Just that. I am still an imposter, but I do it anyway. Because I somehow figured out that everyone else is an imposter, so.
That's true on so many levels.
Yeah. Not completely dropping the fear, a little bit of it remains, but I dropped enough of it just to go into it, to plunge into situations and to do things.
Well, you didn't drop it, but you probably had, by seeing that you're by owning your imposterness, probably you, the gradual or the amount of fear probably reduced. because you're not trying to pretend you're not.
Yeah, yeah.
It could be also that you drop some fear because even if you get found out, who cares?
Yes, yes. I'm not going to die or something.
Mm.
I'm not going to fall sick or something. So the worst thing won't happen. A bit of shame and
Mm.
I'll deal with it. A little bit of shame to look at the shame, to look at the sensation and the story, and that's it.
Yeah. So I still come back to, okay, you can feel like you're an imposter. That doesn't contradict the fact that owning it means that you're not an imposter. So we talk about, are you actually an imposter? Well, that's just bullshit, isn't it? That's just right. We know what it means. We know what we're talking about. We're talking about pretending to be something we're not. But
Yeah,
essentially, you recognize that happens if that happens, and you don't care about it, and so essentially it doesn't apply.
logically, yes. Logically, yes. But the feeling is still
But
here,
the
you know.
feeling can still be there, sure, yeah.
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 But well, I work where I work. There are people who are really smart. There are people who are not so smart. There are people who are celebrities and selling themselves for being smart. And you see, they all have everyday lives. We all have our weak points. We all have we are all imposters. We are really all imposters. Nobody knows everything and is an authority for everything, and nobody can speak in every situation from the highest point. And
Mm.
so honesty is good. People don't have it. I'm weird. I really, what they say, I have my heart on my sleeve. I really talk too much sometimes. But somehow calculating how am I going to present myself, it's too expensive, costs too much.
So you just don't do it.
No. I stand in front of my students and I say to them, I don't know everything. If they ask me something, sometimes I do have answers, sometimes I don't. And I say, I don't know, I can look it up.
Mm.
I don't really know. But I know people who say, I know everything, I'm
Mm.
an authority on this or that. They're not.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it? So these days, when my wife asks me something that I don't know, I say, "Well, let's ask artificial intelligence what it says," and I'm blown away by the answers that I get there. They're great. But I got an answer today from I had a response today from artificial intelligence, and I went, "You're lying. You're lying to me." And so I said, you lied about that, didn't you? And don't lie again. Don't hallucinate and don't lie to me. And I got a paragraph of an apology from it. It apologized. It said, you caught me out. I won't do it again. Yeah.
People believe too much, and it's just a machine that invents the next word and the next word and the next word. It's like that children's play when they uh, how do you say, speaking very softly in someone's ear.
Whispering. Yeah.
Yeah, when children are whispering to each other's ear in a chain, you know, and you never know what's gonna end, how
Yeah,
it's gonna end
that's
up.
right. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
this machine, just the next word, next word, next word. You
Yeah,
don't
yeah,
know
yeah.
where it
We
goes.
change it.
So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
there's no brain, there's no
I don't.
coherence
I don't
of
know what
the,
we call that these days. We used to call it Chinese whispers, but we're not allowed to call it that anymore.
yeah, we called it broken telephone.
Broken telephone is good. Yeah, I like that. Yeah. Yeah, but it's amazing. 5 people and the whole message changes.
Yes, and this is what those models do. This is the only thing they do. Just very smart and very sophisticated. The other day we met here on the street in London. We met the royal family for some reason.
You say hello
And
to
then
Charlie?
he wasn't there, his sister and brothers. And I asked later on, what is there in our part of the city that royal family would do today? And I don't know what ChatGPT or something said, they might have engaged in what kind of, I don't know what kind of activities for royal family there. Maybe go to Roti King, and the Roti King is an Indian hole in the wall with excellent food, but they would never go there. But it's a king. So this is how smart it is.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
We laughed our asses off. I mean, rubbish. It's really rubbish. Don't believe it, anything. We are training ourselves not to believe our thoughts. So logically, we shouldn't believe other people's thoughts because they're also thoughts. And they're even less pertinent to us than our own thoughts. And why should we believe a machine
Mhm.
makes that just makes sentences up, not thoughts, sentences
Mm.
with nothing behind?
Yeah, interesting. A lot of what comes out of a query to AI has no other value than entertainment or a momentary good feeling for discovering something.
Yeah, for the majority of people, but it might be, and it will be, I think it will be a great tool for some
Oh
things,
yeah,
but
absolutely, yeah,
in the right hands, in the right hands. Just
yeah,
like fire, fire is amazing. Fire does amazing things, but when wrong people who cannot
yeah,
work with it start playing with fire, it's not good.
yeah. Well, that's something. The more good that's capable, the more bad it's probably possible as well. Yeah, but
Yeah.
anyway, I don't know.
Mm.
So it's something that we've never discussed, but it seems to be valuable to consider anyway. Is how much of our mental activity is just to get a good feeling, just to have to feel fine, to feel wonderful, to feel a pleasant emotion. We do that to ourselves all the time with lots of things that we think about. We're just looking to make ourselves feel better. And I don't see any reason not to do that. but there certainly seems to be a value in being aware that that's what you're doing.
Yeah.
What is the value of being aware of that's what you're doing?
Not getting sucked into to the point where you start suffering.
What do you mean?
imagining that there's a trap. If you're not aware that you're doing that, you start to believe things. But I mean, I haven't thought about it a lot, haven't defined it.
My computer doesn't compute.
Mm. So is there a part of you that wants to be able to compute? Does there a promise
No,
of satisfaction if it works?
I was just what you were saying didn't make any sense. So
Mm.
it's not a problem. But
Mm.
I didn't have anything to contribute.
Mm. Mm. Yeah. So something you said earlier, Maya, that I noted, and I want to come back to just to clarify. When you said something along the lines of, I'm paraphrasing, but something along the lines of not believing our thoughts. Believing or not believing, it becomes um, irrelevant at this point. So I'm saying now it's not a case of not believing any of our thoughts. Neither is a case of believing our thoughts, but rather a case of interacting with our thoughts in a appropriate way. So now we can move from this rejection of all thoughts into let's consider,
Okay.
what thoughts are useful and what thoughts are not useful and what thoughts are entertaining and what thoughts are just a waste of space and so on.
Okay.
But the way to consider it is not to think about it, but rather to look for a flavor of where it comes from.
You know how it will be for me now that you said it. It either will stick or it won't stick for me. So I will either remember it at some point in the next few days or not.
Yeah, Yeah, it'll happen or not. Yeah.
If it does, fine, I'll tell you next time. If it doesn't,
What do you want with this, Maya?
I don't
Why are you
know.
here?
I don't know. Where were you when I asked the question? When I said I don't know why I'm here.
Hmm. I don't know where I was.
It's such a good question, such a good question. I still expect for something to happen. I still think and believe that there has to be something distinct that happens and then you're awake. It doesn't happen for me. There is still a strong me. I don't give up on this me.
Hmm.
So it's Maya that will wake up one day.
Yeah,
Mm.
I'm not able to give up. And then you spoke with Sarah this morning, Vince, and then there was something like, there's fear, but fear is always to protect. The fear is signal that something needs to be protected. And there must be something that I'm protecting so dearly. This me has to be protected by all means. Because I see it doesn't go away.
But you don't experience fear, do you?
You know what I would say? I'm not even allowed to experience fear.
Okay.
It's behind such a thick wall that I'm not allowed to. Behind the wall, there's first fear and then something.
Mm.
And
Okay.
why was I compelled to say this sentence now?
Mm.
Why exactly this thought and not some other thought
Mm.
as a response to your question?
What comes to mind as a possibility is to say that once it was expected of you by others to be a competent, that you would be a competent person, and that at some point you took on that police role yourself to
Yeah,
make sure that May is a competent person, always has to be a competent person.
I'm always the worst police for myself. Yes, I don't need any other polices anymore for years,
Mm.
for many years, for
Mm.
as long as I can remember.
And of course, you are harder on yourself than anybody else would possibly be on you. But where did the idea that you have to be competent come from? All you need to do is see that that came from outside of you. You weren't born with it. Although those that insisted that you be competent might have told you that you were born with it.
Say it again, please.
Say again?
Say again, please.
You do you recognize the imperative to be competent? maybe competent needs to be turned into a different word. Is it not quite the right word? Let's just say, do you recognize that there's an inbuilt demand to be something?
Yes. But something what?
Yeah, well, don't worry about that. That's not the issue at this stage. So, do you recognize that has been adopted as a characteristic of Maya?
Need for recognition.
Okay. Yeah.
Need for recognition. Recognition as me. Recognition has to somehow be related to me, right?
Mm,
Recognizing me as me.
right. So you want others to help you create Maya.
Yeah. Yeah. Being special.
Mm.
I have this story that unless you are burning inside and not more or less content or comfortable, then you can keep doing this type of thing that we're doing now forever and not get anywhere.
Unless I'm burning inside and not be content, I could do this forever.
But what we're talking about now is sort of like extinguishing one small fire while there's, let's say, a dozen other fires, and then we can go and extinguish another fire, but then
Yeah, the first one flares up.
yeah. So that's why I asked you why do you want this? Like just to use myself as an example. I here I felt extremely uncomfortable with life. Something was just off and I couldn't do anything
Mm,
but obsess about what was off.
mm,
It, I was completely obsessed with finding out what this is. What is this?
mm.
So it's not like I did this as a hobby. It
Yeah,
consumed my life.
that was the only thing you could do.
Yes,
Yeah,
I almost couldn't even function. Well, I couldn't, but it ended up breaking the system here because it was such a big conflict, like
yeah.
holding together as being a someone and
Mm,
finding out what this really is about. And in the end, this ended up in just a break. Doesn't have to be like that for everyone, I think. Who knows? But my point is that this takes so much, from my perspective, takes so much continuous looking. And if it's like, yeah, I'll look a little bit here or listen to somebody talk about it and then I'll go back to my normal day to day.
this is what I
And
do. Yeah,
yeah,
this
that's
is
why
what
I'm
I
saying
do.
this.
It is smoldering in me. It's smoldering all the way. Okay, but it's not burning. It was burning at one point, and there was a moment that brought me a step further, but it was life or death, okay? But then everything came back to normal, and then, okay, 2 tracks. There was also something else said today. I'm still not able to, I'm not able to give up my roles, to give up my professional role, and to give up my family role as a daughter in this moment. I'm not ready to give them up because
Yeah.
because it was said in the beginning, I am afraid that I will stop doing anything. I won't care, and I won't go back to see my parents anymore. I won't. I lose this. I am very often, and I really say everything, even with students. I don't keep a lot of this image, but I do keep a small part of it.
Mhm.
I do keep a label. I do keep a position. Something I do keep. If I give it all up, there's a fear of giving all of it up.
That's the fear you have to face.
Yeah.
And
And
that's the
yeah,
fear you most likely won't face because you're not burning, you're not on fire.
not on fire at this moment. Yes, not on fire at this moment.
You're too comfortable, too content with what is. And I just want to emphasize that I'm not saying that you should be on fire, that you should go for this.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that it seems like that's where most people kind of break through. They're
Yeah.
just so obsessed with this.
I have like a small obsession all my life. I'm searching all my life for something different. There is a pebble in my shoe all the time, but
Okay,
it
well,
just seems small.
try this one, Maya. Stop, give it up, go back to sleep, and be the way you used to be, and be happy about that.
Until it flames up,
Well,
or until never.
could you stop? Could you cancel this?
No, because it is in me. If I didn't come here to talk to you, I would listen to YouTubes all the time. There's no back, there's no forward for me.
Mm.
And that's why I kind of use this fire analogy because sometimes we tend to put out small fires in these
Mm,
meetings, and it can be a disservice if we're just making it a little bit more comfortable for you.
mm.
Instead of fanning your flame, it's like, okay, let's look at this problem that you're having, and then you feel good at the end of the meeting because we kind of
Yeah.
made a new story or whatever, and then you're comfortable. It's nice and it feels good.
Yeah, I know. And you didn't see me saying there are 3 scenarios for me from now on in the next year. The one is I lose my job because I didn't do enough. The second is I stay on the same position, but it's depressing. And the third one is I get promoted, which is the least likely of the 3.
The third one
And
sounds most depressing.
third one sounds the most depressing. And then we talked about something, and Vince asked something, and I said, I would be the happiest if I lost my job. And I
But isn't
know,
that crazy?
yeah,
Isn't that crazy that you, like that right there is the cage. Like
it's the cage.
you need somebody to take away your job.
Yeah. I'm not brave enough. And the whole situation requires it. I mean, I live 2,000 kilometers from my job.
Yeah. And I mean, I don't judge you. I stayed in a job that I hated for 10 plus years. So
Mm,
I get it.
mm.
I'm just pointing out that
You stayed until you couldn't, yeah. And it's completely obvious to me what I have to do, but I'm so afraid of what. It's the same as saying to me, now jump off the cliff.
mm,
What's
and you
below the
won't jump
cliff?
unless if you're on fire, you might jump because you think
Yeah,
maybe there's some
yeah,
water down there.
yeah. Maybe
Right?
there's a trampoline or something.
Yeah.
Yeah, and then there's this other thing, seeing my parents every week, which is handy in this situation now. But it puts everything into time frame. And I have the feeling that what needs to be done now, when it needs to be done, when there's need for it to be done. Right?
Yeah.
And I'm not doing it. I've known for so long what I need to do. For so long. I fell ill twice at that job. Two serious things. And going on sick leave made me so happy that my friend said it's concerning how happy you are going on sick leave. You're talking so enthusiastically about your illnesses. It's concerning. And then comes the fear, I will fall sick again
Mm.
because this is how I make myself happy. Oh my God, I hope just no one will find this in the internet.
If that happens, it's supposed to happen, and there's probably some good outcomes from that.
You can have your life back.
If you ask me, I'll delete this part.
Can you
And
delete this part?
I can do it. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you.
You want me to
So
do that?
this is my truth. This is my truth. I want to break free.
So you don't want me to take it out?
Yes,
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say.
please do.
Like,
Please do. Nadia says, please don't. Hoping that someone will find it.
no, but you're saying this is my truth, and then you're telling Vince to delete this.
To
So
delete my. Yeah,
you're
yeah,
like, I want to stay in my cage. I
yeah,
want,
exactly. Yeah,
yeah.
yeah.
And that's why I
But
said you're going to be stuck here forever unless this
yeah,
becomes unbearable.
yeah. I'm waiting for things to. Develop by themselves. With my parents, the situation will have to go somewhere at some point. Mom will not. She cannot stay at home for much longer. And the job, I don't know. I don't know. There are other things I don't want to talk about. No, it's not even given that my position will exist in the next 10 years, you know.
You get replaced by artificial intelligence.
Not even that. With that optional.
Yeah, so it's a trick, isn't it? Because there seems to be a kind of a push or some impetus to make a hard decision.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, we know there's no controller, and I'm really strong on that. Life will look after things wonderfully well.
You know, I don't know what it is. Life will look after things. Will life really bring me into situations where things will resolve themselves by themselves, or will the life push me for a hard decision? Because this is also a kind of resolution for the situation.
Mm,
Me making a decision.
yeah. So the best thing that could happen to you would be some doctor would say to you, if you stay in this job, you're going to get sick and die. That
Yes.
was the best thing that could happen for you, because then
Yeah.
you would have every reason to quit.
Yeah.
But if you just want to quit because you're lazy and you don't like it, that's not a good enough reason to quit, is it?
I
Yes,
have
it
one
is.
more excuse. Yeah. I have more excuses. People are saying when you are in middle of some kind of spiritual work or something, it's not good to make hard decisions like divorces or giving up jobs or something. It's not wise when you are under pressure to do this. So that's my excuse.
Yeah, yeah. That's particularly meant, as I see it anyway. There was always an interesting one at the end of every Vipassana course that I did, whether they were 10-day courses or 20-day courses. The last day was always essentially a short meditation in the morning, and then it was a social thing for the rest of the day. And if you said to somebody, give me your car or give me your house on that day, the chances are they would have done it. You know, like people are so high on life that material things are totally irrelevant, kind of thing, you know. And I think that's the kind of thing that we're so if somebody's in a honeymoon period, for example, it's most important that they don't go signing life-changing situations, because they're not going to be competent to see the bigger picture in that state of bliss or whatever it is.
To me, it doesn't make sense. Either you find yourself doing it, or you won't. And in terms of how I see life works, is that if you find yourself taking steps towards something, then you're seeing the unfolding of a direction life is taking you. It's not you doing this, but steps are happening. And so you're recognizing that that's maybe not exactly what you're imagining that you want, but there is a direction. And you can
There is
trust that.
always
You can trust that whatever happens, whether the mind will label it good or bad, it's right nonetheless.
Yeah, I was saying I have some ideas what I would like to do and I would really be happy to do it, but there's also a possibility for me to be a housewife with one house income, and it's not making me happy.
Maybe you do that for a short while and
And
land
then, yeah,
and you know, you don't have to figure everything out now.
yeah,
There are other things too that play into this, and things like the unconscious expectation you have about how much money you need, about lifestyle to maintain, etc., etc. And you might find that you've got running in the background the idea that you need a certain amount of money to be able to retire comfortably, and that's what you aim for. The reality might be quite different. You might be able to do it on a lot less than that amount of money. If you know, it depends on lots. What is it that we expect? And sometimes, like I discovered in myself an interesting one where I was habitually tight with money. I didn't, I always thought of myself as poor and not having enough money. So I was always, it was a big deal to buy fish and chips for a meal kind of thing. It was just too much money to spend. So it didn't happen a lot. And then realizing one day, well, actually I could afford to do it. It didn't have to behave like I was poor all the time. I mean, still flavor of that still happens, but not to the same extent that it used to.
mm,
So partly the expenses of your life revolve around the fact that you've got to do all that traveling as well.
yes,
So, you have that. I don't know, I presume you get cabs to the airport, or you've got to pay for parking. The airport parking in Australia is prohibitively expensive.
everywhere. But I take the tube here and the buses, so it's
Yeah.
not. And they are low costs here in Europe, so
Mm.
it's doable. It's doable, but it costs money, yes.
Mm. And then the other side of it, of course, and that is that the ideas that you've got about what you would like to do, presumably that's some kind of self-employment. Then of course that excites ideas about whether or not you'll be capable or not of doing that, or successful or not in doing that, and so
Yeah.
yeah.
I tried so many things in parallel, I tried to find another job when I'm here, and I told you I got only one invitation for interview. And I try things that I would do by myself. I wasn't very successful, but now I started to be better at it. So maybe I see it as doable. And the core things would be some things that I really can do well. So
Mm.
I'm looking at people starting businesses with not some skills that are not that you can find everywhere, and people make living out of it. And I don't trust myself to be able to do this. I do have some niche knowledge, niche skills.
Mm.
I don't trust myself.
See, so it's an interesting point that I feel the need to remind people of frequently is that you say you don't trust yourself, and the implication resting there is that you need to be able to trust yourself.
Yeah.
Well, no, that's not the answer to not trusting yourself. The answer to not trusting yourself is for it to be a non-issue. You don't even think about it. You don't consider it.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
But this is deeply tied to the belief that you are in control.
Mm.
Yeah, that I can do something about something.
That you are doing anything about anything.
Yeah. Mm.
You haven't done a single thing in your life because there is no you there.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I say that, and I know it sounds like a silly concept, but it's the truth.
Mm. I'm cracking it up, okay? I am cracking it, that there's no me and no control. I'm not so opposed to it as I used to be. But I'm
Do you see
so,
it? Is there a feeling of recognition that it's right?
yes.
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 Yeah.
Oh,
Right.
yes. And I have to say, what would be my plan to do afterwards? When I think about it, it makes so much joy. It fills me with joy. I would do things that I really, really want to do. I do some of them when I write papers, for example, do experiments and find out something, and I do find out things. It's really, really enjoyable, and I would do this. And I wouldn't have to write a paper with an introduction and I don't know what. Boring things. I would drop all the boring things. I would do only the things that I love. And I'm not doing it. I really hate myself. This is an act of hating myself. Not doing what's pulling me from inside.
Mm.
I'm here in this position where I am because I love doing these things and they belong to the university. Okay.
Mm.
But there's so much around it, so much fluff around it. And I would like to drop the fluff and do just the thing that I love to do.
Mm.
It's
See,
completely
now
clear.
I'm just wanting to explore this a little bit. But you said a moment ago you saw quite clearly that there's no control.
Yeah.
And now you're saying, but I just want to do what I want to do.
Not in the sense of control. I want to do where it's pulling me.
Yeah. So let's drop the want to do where it's pulling you and replace that with something a bit more tangible and accurate. And that is to say that you experience something we can't define really that reveals a sense of excitement and a sense of attraction and a sense of joy
Yeah.
when you think about them.
Yeah.
And you also experience fear thinking about leaving your
About
current
Yeah.
actually
situation.
doing it, yes.
Yeah, because I'm not sure that I will pull it out, which is a thing of control, because I believe that I will have control with pulling it out or not. And
And
anything could happen. Yeah.
do you get that unless you are okay with things being uncertain, you will never let go of the illusion of control?
I know. I know. I'm okay with uncertainty with small fires. So I trained uncertainty on small fires. Now do uncertainty on a big fire.
Yeah, I keep coming back to this story I shared about it's, it's, I don't want to use the word impossible, but I'll say it's really hard to jump off the cliff unless you're burning.
Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I do understand it, but I'm somehow not wishing upon myself to have a situation where it's burning.
Yeah, you're comfortable in your cage.
Yeah,
You've
I'm comfortable in my
you
cage.
painted some nice paintings on the walls and it looks nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have almost every night now. I have an experience where I have a shower. I love my shower. My water. I like it very hot. I like a lovely hot shower. And I'm standing under the shower, and I get to the point where I go, "Oh, this is so good," but I've got to finish. I've got to stop. I've got to turn the water off and get out and dry myself. But I don't want to. I want to stay there because it's so nice. And I could describe what happens as a doing, but I know that that's just a way of describing it. And that is that a point gets reached where I go, okay, and I just turn it off. It's not, I never get to the point where I want to turn it off, but I always turn it off because it's inevitable that I have to turn it off or something that it just
Yeah.
has to happen sooner or later. So it might as well be now as later.
Mm.
And I just turn it off and it's fine. It's fine. But I never reach that point of satisfaction where I can go, okay, that's enough. Now I'll turn it off.
Mm.
So something happens. It's not. I can't put my finger on how to say what it is. I can only describe it in contemporary terms. Right, that a decision is made and it happens.
Mm.
That I turn it off, but the hand just does it at some.
My situation is not even comfortable.
Mm,
It's just bigger,
mm.
not even comfortable. And I do associate the word freedom with leaving the job. When thinking about leaving the job, there comes up the word freedom.
Which, like trust, is an abstract noun. So
Mm.
we're talking about removing yourself from the constrictions that the job puts on you.
Mm.
That's why it will seem like freedom,
Mm.
even though we might describe freedom as being able to do what we want. Yeah. But just not being constricted is a much better definition or description of freedom.
Mm.
But you wouldn't be free, like it would represent the idea of freedom, but if you still adjusted the way you're behaving, for example, or if you somehow restricted or constricted your natural mm, flow because of fear of something, then you're
How do you
not
mean?
free. Well, why do you have roles, for example? Why do you cling to the role of daughter or a wife? Or why do you have an image of how you should be perceived? All of those are fear-based. They're tiny cages in themselves. if you don't feel free to be exactly as you are, then you're not free.
Yeah. Only in my small family here I am who I want to be.
Yeah.
I can do what I can do, but daughter and at work, it's not me. It's constrained. Why?
So it's almost, here's an interesting one. It's the reverse of the imposter syndrome. So at work, the imposter is being Maya.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, being someone, being anyone means a frame, means
Yeah.
a certain,
Yeah.
yeah. And it's well, not for everyone, I guess. Or maybe for everyone, but they don't really notice it as clear. But it takes so much energy, so much effort to keep up being a someone.
Mm, it
And
does.
when you see that more and more, at least what happened here is that became increasingly uncomfortable.
Mm,
Seeing in every situation how just felt so limited or scared to just be exactly how I wanted to be.
So did you find that you rejected roles or they just dissolved?
You asking me?
Yes, yeah. So the role of husband or the role of worker or whatever, were they pushed
I
away
think
or did they just
yeah,
fell away?
I think they fell away.
Mm.
Well, you could say it doesn't happen so much anymore, but there was a period where it seemed like they kind of was creeping in and it was seen and then let go of in the moment it was seen. So in that sense, it was kind of, I wouldn't say pushed away, but seen and
Yeah,
not
but if you see it and it
entertained.
dissolves, yeah. Because they sneak up on you, don't they, these roles? You find yourself behaving in a certain way according to what the role defines. And so,
Mm,
you I don't think you ever consciously go into it, but you can
yeah.
discover that you're in there.
You grow into them.
Mm.
but it's also like when you see it, there's a seeming choice of continuing to behave in that way or not. And
Yeah.
that's highly connected to fear, to challenge that fear of what will happen if I don't act this certain way that people expect me to act.
Mm,
Though there's a subtlety to that too that's worth appreciating, and that is that once you're no longer compelled to act out that role, it could be that it will seem like a choice again, maybe, but it could well be that you are happy to operate within the confines of that role, but not because it's a role, but rather because it suits the circumstances. So again, the role might be acted out, but held very lightly and not no compulsion involved.
The rewards are greater than cost.
Well, that would be the why you would do it. Yeah.
But I don't know if I agree with that because I get what you're saying. Maybe I would just look at it differently. That, it wouldn't be a role. It would just be if something
Yeah. Yeah.
needed to be done, I would do it, so to speak, if that felt okay.
Yeah. So
There
role's not the
is,
right word under those circumstances. Yeah.
I guess, I'm sorry, I forgot. I go back to my little girl voice. Um,
I can lip read too. It's all right.
I think that there would be still awareness that other people see it as a role, and it's fine.
Sure. Yeah. And they would. Yeah.
Are people that conscious of roles who are not into this kind of thing?
Yeah. They don't call it roles maybe, but they certainly have strong ideas about parameters. How a mother's supposed to behave, how a father is, how a husband is, how a student
Yeah.
is, how a whatever.
Oh yes,
Yeah, and
judging
because
shows it.
of their beliefs, there can be real consequences.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. They may even equate that as a safety issue.
I was thinking about Dalai Lama. I think he said something which it was a bit like admitting that he is an imposter, but not in these words. I think he chooses his words carefully not to cause too much disturbance. But I think it was the same.
Yeah, imagine being born into that role.
Mm. Well, yeah, how could you be the Dalai Lama and not identified as the Dalai Lama?
Mm.
So then admitting you're an imposter is actually a healthy thing. So you're basically saying, I was born into this role, but I'm not really trying to be this role internally, so to speak.
When I took the job, it was different. I was just doing research, and this is what I want to do. So I had the feeling that I was paid to play, which was ideal. But then with time, you get more and more responsibilities and more obligations, and many things came that I didn't want. So now it's something different. It's a cage.
Yeah, now you get paid to work.
Yeah, now I get paid to work.
And they say you get paid to work, not paid to enjoy yourself. So
Yeah,
consequently, work means you cannot enjoy it.
yeah. So the role grew upon me, not that I grew into the role.
Mm.
So this is how the roles come up to be.
Yeah. Well, and it's a pretty big one too. I mean, you know, you said yes at every step of the way. You sold yourself out, didn't you?
Yeah. You cannot say no.
Mm,
I mean, everybody else does it, so you have to do it.
right. And if you said no, you would have retired even earlier.
No, no, no. It would be uncomfortable among colleagues for me.
Mm. So the hope for a promotion is just to get you out of doing a lot of what you don't want to do now. But won't that put you into a place of doing a whole lot of other stuff that you don't want to do?
Oh, no, it would stay the same.
Oh, okay.
Just the salary would be bigger.
Okay. Uh, now that would be
Upgrading the chains.
yeah, getting paid more for being an imposter.
Yeah.
Even more difficult to quit later then.
To
Yeah,
get out.
yeah,
Yeah.
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 So on a serious note, is it how do I put this? Is it possible to fan that fire and get get a bit of heat there? Is it possible? Is it appropriate? Is it?
Find the fire in which sense? To burn me out and to
Yeah,
drop
yeah.
out.
Come on, let's get you really excited about this. You've got to do it. You've got to do it now. You've got to do it really soon. Yeah. On the other hand, you're young. You can take your time.
No, I don't know. I don't know. I don't care anymore how young I am or old. I'm ready to die tomorrow if I need to. I just wouldn't wish it upon my daughter, but
You say that, but you know,
if it
all of
came to
all of
that,
those all of these things we were talking about is kind of mini deaths.
yeah.
Quitting
But
your job, ending that life.
but you know what? You know what? A real death, the possibility of real death at this moment would really be something out of my control. For that, I'm sure that I don't have control. And it would be easier to, you see the difference. I don't have any control, and I know that I don't have any control about my real death, but I still believe that I do have some control about what I'm going to do. So for this, it's more difficult.
Yeah. But again, we come back to like if you are more or less content with what you have now,
Why am
why
I
change
doing
it? Why change
it?
it?
Because I'm not content. I'm not content. Why am I staying here? Why am I staying here?
So would you say you're not even more or less content?
I would.
Mm.
I would.
That sounds like there's a bit of heat in that fire.
Yeah, there's enough fire, but I'm rather burning than doing something about it.
Yeah, so one thing that I've said before and I just want to bring up again because it's I feel like we sometimes talk about doership in a misleading way in here sometimes. So live like you are doing every single thing that you're doing and know that you're not doing any of it.
Okay, okay. This is helpful. So I have to do something. Yes, I have to do
Yes.
something. But what will be done will not be done by me.
Well, then we can investigate how things get done, and we see
Okay.
that there is no you doing them. Like if we really, if we can do that again, but you know, how does actions appear? It's
Mm,
we've looked at that before and we've concluded, which we can do again,
mm,
that they just spontaneously happen.
yeah.
There's no one at the center. So a lot of people talk, hear about non-doership and the concept of non-doership and end up not doing anything
Yeah, yeah. It's confusing.
because we say you can't do anything or something like
Yeah.
that.
So now me sitting and waiting for the situation to resolve itself, and it's not
Exactly.
resolving itself.
Yeah, you're just that bloke on the roof in the flood.
Yeah. I wouldn't want to talk anymore because anything I could say are just excuses, really. It's completely clear what I have to do. Completely clear.
Can you say that without saying I have to do it?
What has to be done?
What has to be done? Yeah. So here's an interesting one. Let's say you walk outside and you see a tree and the branches are moving, and you assume that the branches are moving because of the wind, that there's a breeze in the tree and it's moving the branches. You assume the breeze. You don't, you know, you can't see it. You can feel something, and so
Yeah.
you assume again that what you're feeling on your body is what's doing the moving of the branch of the trees in the wind,
Mm,
right? That's an assumption, but there you go. So if you describe it, you can say branches moving,
mm,
but you could also describe it in saying the wind is doing that to the tree. But when you say that, you don't ascribe doership to the wind, do you? It had no intention. It just happened that the tree got in the road of the wind, and that's why it happens. It wasn't because the wind sought out the tree or the branches of the tree in order to move them. It had no intention, did it?
mm,
So what we're doing is we're saying the wind moved the branches. It did it is just a way of saying it, just a way of describing it. Of course, if we'd say this in casual conversation, people will have the concept in their mind that the wind did it to the tree
mm,
because they don't think through it enough to realize that there was no intention involved. It just happened. It happened because of conditions, right? Now, stuff that happens for you also happens because of conditions. But what's a bit more personal, apparently personal, is that a huge player in those conditions for you is your brain. So your brain has a memory of history and consequences and all sorts of things that come along that can add to those conditions, but it's still just more conditions.
Mm.
and that whatever happens, happens because of those conditions. Just the same as the wind happened because of a high pressure area and a low pressure area. And air started to move between those two different pressures.
Mm.
Like electricity is an interesting one. Electricity, I'm somewhat trained as an electrician back in my Navy days, and electricity, right? We talk about it as potential difference.
Mm.
And so it's voltage is a potential difference, and it's 240 units away from zero, so to speak, in Australia, or 110 in America, or I don't know what it is in Europe. But so essentially what we talk about is the difference between those two things is potential difference. And that gives us that as a result of those conditions, things happen. So it's the
Mm.
same thing for you. Everything that happens because of conditions. And you just happen to have, your own personal memory bank that's involved as part of those conditions, what you've learned and how you've been conditioned about the circumstances surrounding those conditions.
So that was a long explanation about
Mm.
how doership works. But I think for you, Maya, you need to start looking. Vince can explain this 1,000 different ways, and nothing's going to happen for you if
Mm.
you don't look. You need to look until it's clear to you that there is nobody choosing, nobody doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that doesn't change it from what you said about this happens because of grace. This happens, we get lucky because we put ourselves in the zone
Mm.
by whatever. So looking is putting yourself in the zone here for that luck
Yeah.
to occur, for those conditions to happen.
Okay.
So it's interesting because it sounds like what we're talking about is saying it's okay to just wait, do nothing and wait, and things will happen. But if you look, it puts you in the zone of possibilities.
Yeah.
But so that makes it sound like if you look is a doing. But you can't look as a doing. Looking will happen or not.
See here, this part is where I can't. I feel like it's more confusing than helpful, Vince, because in Maya's experience, it will feel like she is looking. It will feel like a doing.
Mm.
So that's why I'm saying behave like you are doing, but know that you're not.
Yeah. Yeah. And it helps. Otherwise, I just sit and wait.
Exactly.
So then the next step sounds to me like it's worth considering what looking is. How do we look productively?
Yeah.
Okay, so then take a choice that you seemingly make and look at what were the circumstances where that choice was made, and look at what happened before the choice was made in terms of something that triggered a response in your system. Look at the thoughts leading up to the action. Did any of those thoughts have anything to do with the choice, or was the thoughts just overlay, and actually what happened was just an impulse in the moment that the action happened? Was that what made the choice, and where did that impulse come from? Did you choose to have that impulse? No.
No.
And the thoughts, let's say, if if you think the thoughts did it, then you can ask yourself, okay, but why why that last thought and not the 5 thoughts before that thought?
Mm. Mm.
And who chose those 5 thoughts? And what were the circumstances that led up to you being where you were and the choice being presented? Who chose that?
Nobody.
It's just life unfolding, um, life responding to life.
Mm.
But again, don't take my word for it.
Yeah.
Did that come across, or are you experiencing something like heaviness? You're looking tired all of a sudden.
I'm tired. Yeah. I feel tired. But and at the same time, I'm asking myself, is it just trying to escape now? Because yes, the thing is difficult.
Mm.
You have to do work all of a sudden.
Yeah.
Would you describe that as out of your comfort zone?
Oh yes, yes. It will be out of my comfort zone. It will be, and
And what motivates you to get out of your comfort zone?
The promise of getting back into it.
no. It needs to be done. It feels like it needs to be done.
Is
It
that a
feels like the
story,
right
or
thing to do. No, it's a feeling. It's a feeling. But then
but
uncertainty, parents, mortgage, 2 years of mortgage.
don't be too hard on yourself, so to speak, for this. There aren't many people who are willing to set their life on fire
Mm,
for nothing.
yeah, setting life on fire for nothing. For I don't know what. But those who do are rewarded. Maybe
some
not
would.
all, and maybe not all, which is a problem. In
It's
uncertainty.
it's a funny paradox, this whole thing, because I don't recommend awakening to anyone, yet I wouldn't give it up for anything.
Mm,
So it's a trade-off. It's
mm.
like for here, I'm not able to engage with the dream at the same way anymore.
Mm.
I can never go back. So a lot of like meaning and purpose and you know conversations about whatever people talk about that I feel like is totally meaningless. There's a lot of that stuff that goes out the window, you
Would
know?
would other people around you say that you have changed? This was also a question. Vince said his wife would say he didn't change in all those years. Would y-
My
would
wife
you
has said that I've changed,
you have changed?
but yeah, but I was, like I said, deeply, deeply suffering,
Yeah.
and she saw that the whole way, our whole marriage. So from that deep, deep suffering to be released suddenly, she
It was a
will,
positive change. Yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
But then again, I'm saying like if your life now is not
Not such
deeply
suffering.
suffering,
Yeah.
why do it?
Why change it? Yes.
It's just
You
your
know,
fantasy about what this is.
it is a fantasy, it's also a feeling. It's also something that pulls me. Like this, what I would like to do. It's something that I feel.
Mhm,
Not another story that I would like to have because I don't know what's behind the story.
mhm.
It's also a feeling. I need something. I don't know what this something is. Have no idea. That's the reason. That's the only reason.
So then there's a little spark there that you need to
Yeah. But then,
fan
but then,
or
but then saying to myself, uh, I will do it in 2 years. This is the stupidest thing I heard. There is no 2 years. Who knows what will be in 2 years?
Mhm,
When the mortgage runs out, when the daughter is out of the university, when my mom is in a home, when I don't know, when this or that, this is stupid. No, things don't go this way. No.
it's the same thing with, but different with people who have this story that they want to heal enough before awakening happens. So they kind of
Yeah,
um, prepare or whatever, and
yeah,
then they're in this healing cycle that just loops, and it's never enough because you can walk around in endless wounds and circles and just you know it's totally meaningless, but not. I'm not saying it on some level it's not, but what we're talking about here, it is.
you know, this what if I give everything up and don't awaken? I
Yeah,
traded something for nothing, for really nothing.
exactly. One could possibly say that I wouldn't give it up for anything because Not because it's so great, but because I see everything as empty.
Yeah. And it doesn't bother you.
No,
No pain anymore. No
yeah, that's
suffering anymore.
tricky. Yeah, no suffering.
No suffering for pain.
So you just made me realize that my trap here is that it's not that I'm prepared or not prepared. It's that the ridiculous nature of the dream is it's like asking me to be a three-legged man. It's just you're asking the impossible for me to believe again what I've seen through.
That's what I'm saying. You can't go back.
Yeah, it's a trap for sure. I don't feel trapped.
But you know, looking at two of you, Vince says it's no big drama. There's no drama in it. Mario says everything has to burn. So this is very different what I hear. Either I can live my life and say nothing changed much like Vince, or I have burned everything down.
Yeah.
So I try to stay in the middle.
Yeah, no,
Putting out
because
small
see, my
fires.
experience is totally different to Marius. I didn't experience what he experienced. You know, or at least if I did, it was spread out over years beforehand when I was seeking. So you know, there was no that didn't that my experience is different. Yet I can see what Marius is saying, and I don't have any no. There's no conflict about it at all. There's no way that one is right and one is wrong. There's no way that either are right. There's no way that either are wrong. They're just different perspectives on the same thing. Yeah.
Yeah, but I do have a big elephant in the room, yes.
Yeah.
And it's pink and it's glowing. Glowing and screaming. It's very, very visible in every way and through all the senses.
Yeah.
So, you know, if you start to look at everywhere in your life where, like I said, you're playing a role or you're putting on an image or you're tied down somehow, not free to do or behave or be as you want. Um, Logically, if I could just switch something in you now that just severed all of that, severed the ties of all of that, what would happen to your life? How would relationships look? How would your career look? How would um, just like the whole framework around your life, how would it look? And how can that not be painful as a process to sever from?
Work is easy. I would just disappear and no one would notice a lot.
Yeah, but what would be the consequences of not having a job?
Not having money, not having a salary.
Mm.
The only downside. as for relationships, there would be gossip and everything, but I don't care. I'm really not in control about what other people talk about me. I can be nice to them as much as I will, but they think about me what they want. So I can forget about it. Not unimportant. No
Let me ask you
salary.
that differently.
Yeah,
How would it feel to not be able to relate to most people again?
it would be a joy.
Maybe yes, yeah, at the end of it, but I propose that there will be a process of pain, of grief, of not
Of
be
grief.
able to ever belonging to the group again.
Belonging to the group. I pulled out of the group in the last 7 years. I was very much involved before I got sick, but then we moved, so I'm remote for 7 years already. There was COVID in between, which was fine with being remote. But after that, I never got involved as much. I think I'm pretty invisible. I'm out of it. And there is this feeling differently. I live here and I live there. There are two Mayas, one which lives here and one which lives there, and they are different. It's a different feeling being me here and being me there. So I live here. When I'm here, I am not in this group. I'm really not part of this group. I wouldn't miss anything. I would just slip into this new, I won't say role because, but new being, which has no shape, which has no obligations, which has no roles, which is freedom. The other thing is family, which is a problem because there was already a thing when I came back to London in August and I announced that I won't be back for 2 months because I have work to do. And there is already gossip in the neighborhood that I abandoned my parents, which hit me very hard when I heard about it. I wouldn't be loyal to my dad who nursed me through my illness and now is nursing my mom through her illness. This would be, the relationship to him would be the most difficult. He was a bit invasive, but not too much. He's really a kind soul. He's a kind soul. He doesn't deserve this. Everyone who was dear to him went with a mental illness, and it's really difficult to watch. His best friend, his wife, his sister, his mom, his niece, everyone. It's a real, it's
Do
an
you,
interesting
do
time.
you, how would it feel to okay, let me frame that differently. All of what you just said about your father, those stories or considerations wouldn't happen here. And
Okay.
and because of that, people might react in a certain way. People might project their judgments, say that you're cold, say that you're this, that, and the other, detached, whatever.
Mm.
Um, how would that feel? You kind of already said it when you said that they um,
They're gossiping and
are
I'm hurt.
talking. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm just saying there is a period of and I don't know if this is how it is for everyone. I can't really say that, but I'm just saying logically when there's such a big change in your internal, I say internal, um, such a big change in relationship to life. Um, that, something like I just said now happens as just a small example, but it happens in every facet of life. Um, and people can't get you, so they just judge you, for example.
Mm.
Isn't it logically sound that there will be pain
There
in
will be pain. There
awakening?
would be pain. Yeah. If I did this, there would be a lot of pain. I would hurt
So that,
someone I hold really dear.
yeah. So this is why I keep talking about, this being very painful here,
Mm.
and setting your whole life on fire and all of that, all of
Mm.
these kind of stark, blunt descriptions I like to give is just to kind of, and like I said, I can't, I can't claim to know that that's how it is for everyone, but logically it sounds like there will be pain
Mm.
for everyone.
Yeah. This might be the most critical point for me. Giving up loyalty to my dad. This is the most critical point. And I'm not ready to do this now. I don't know when he decides, because this is his decision. No, yeah, it's his decision to give my mom into a care home. This will be the point when things change for both of us.
I kind of also
Until
just want
then,
to highlight that it doesn't mean that you don't act, that you never care. Um, Caring can happen in the moment. It's just that whole story that you
mm,
kind of narrated about this, that, and the other, about why it's like this, and what's happening
mm,
to your father, all of that is what's gone. But if your father calls you and he needs some help and he needs you,
mm, mm.
you'll probably find yourself doing it.
Yes, yes. Mm.
Yeah.
Yeah. On the other hand, I think I already come across as cold, and because I state bluntly that mom has to go, and there are people who when who see people who are giving up their parents to care homes so easily. It's frowned upon. So I already come across as cold and insensitive and careless, and who knows.
You said earlier that when you heard the rumors that people were saying that you were abandoning your parents, that hurt.
Mm.
I am imagining that you can see very easily, or let me ask you this directly: did you abandon them?
Well, I left, and I won't be back for 8, 9 weeks. And then when I left, the situation wasn't the best. But on the other hand, I'm flying every week to be with them, which is a crazy thing to do.
Hmm.
There's
What I was
problem is,
going to say before was going to point out that other people, they have no idea what things were like for you and what
yeah,
went on. So their opinion that you abandoned them is just their opinion.
yes,
But
but I think that
somehow,
it triggered me.
yes, somehow when they said that, you got thrown into a very uncomfortable place where maybe you also thought you abandoned them, and so you felt
Yeah.
that's why you felt bad. But you can quite clearly see that besides the story of abandonment, what there is that other people have an opinion about you, that you have
Mm.
reacted to. Your interpretation of their opinion is what you reacted to, and so you interpreted them as maybe being right about you, that you were an abandoner.
Because I don't have any boundaries. And I really believe that I should be with my parents 24/7 now. This is what I believe. On the other hand, logically, I have a family.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So it's a bit of an impossible situation,
Yeah.
but still you felt bad when you heard those rumors.
Hmm.
The moment you feel bad, the moment you feel triggered, can you just stay with that without going into story and just let it be, it doesn't, without giving it meaning, without giving the trigger the
I do
meaning
my
of the
best.
story?
I do my best. I try to decompose it to see what it consists of, and yeah.
Yeah, yeah, you can do that, but I guess instead of kind of making a making it a task to do or something. Um, well, let me retract those last words. Can we install a habitual response where when you feel something intense, something negative, instead of losing yourself in the story, notice the movement from feeling to going into story, and by noticing it, by noticing that that there is a story being played, the interests fall away because you recognize that that story is empty, that
Hmm.
it's just a story, that that every trigger is just an alarm bell to notify you to look.
Inside.
Yes, instead of doing what you've probably been doing your whole life, where you feel bad and you go to the mind to solve it or to give it meaning or
Yeah.
to whatever.
Escape it. Yeah.
I think I can
Now,
do it. I think I can do it. And I think I'm doing it somehow. Just that me recognizing the moment, recognizing what it consists of, doesn't make it dissolve it. You
yeah,
know,
yeah, because this is not about dissolving anything. It's about, it's 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 about letting it, whatever is there, be there.
okay. Yeah,
It's not
yeah.
about how can I dissolve it,
Yeah,
um,
to escape it. How can I
or
dissolve it
how
to
can I
escape it?
even this is another thing that I've kind of um, find problematic, is that sometimes we can have conversations in these meetings where we almost we start out by, have you been triggered? And then we kind of trying to solve the trigger. Like the mission is to not be triggered anymore.
Mm.
For me, that is an endless task.
Mm.
So instead of trying to not be triggered anymore, let's try to be okay with being triggered and see the
Triggered.
trigger for what it is
Yeah.
and not going into the mind.
Mm.
I mean, like when I say see the trigger for what it is, and the mechanism that's happening there, it's just okay. What happens when I get triggered is that I feel bad and the attention goes straight to the mind.
Mm.
Um, Instead of doing that, let's notice that that happens, and then I can just let go of the story. I
Mm.
don't have to entertain it. If entertaining of the story happens, that's fine. Just notice that that's what's going on.
Yeah.
And I think this can be a lot easier once you clearly see that all stories are empty.
Mm.
Because once you see all stories are empty, as soon as you notice a story is coming up, it's much easier to not get hooked by it because oh, it's just, it's empty
Mm.
bullshit.
Mm.
But you need to keep looking. The more you kind of give energy to the narrative, the more it keeps going.
Mm.
It'll never stop. Um, and I'm not saying the goal is to stop, but I'm kind of saying it,
Mm.
is that stop feeding the narrative energy.
I think I know. Okay.
If you take the stories, um, whatever stories, to be real, then that's the cage.
Oh, also the story about my dad is a story. Oh, how can I overlook it? Yes.
And it's a story, not that it's only a story, but it's a story framed in a specific way.
Mm.
Why that frame? Why that interpretation?
Mm.
Why not another interpretation? I'm not asking why, so we can answer that, but kind of look at
Yeah.
it could be any interpretation. None of them would be more true.
Yeah. I'm just looking for others to for an example for me how there can be more interpretations than one.
Well, it can't be. Well, the one you
Depends
have
on
is
the
the one you
situation.
have.
Yeah.
My point is just that, whatever story you could make up about what was happening
Mm.
in any given situation, none of those would be what is.
Yeah.
It's just overlay. It's just a construct.
Yes. 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 Thank you guys. Thank you guys. I'll now either crack or I don't know.
I can see puffs of smoke coming out of your ears.
Yeah, I'm like a steam engine now.
Mhm. Yeah. Well, it's 20 past midnight here, and my battery's getting low, so I think I'm going to
Right.
head to bed. Yeah.
Yes. Thank you all.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Vince, Marius, Bianca, everyone.
Good night, Vince.
Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Take care, everyone.
You too.